media is so important, and it's, it's part of how we define the world. When you think about, you know, performativity theory, but, Judith Butler's theory, where when you speak things into being, and like the words that we use are always a part of like a constant building up of relation and identity and just like how we structure the world. Um, and so, of course, like as a consequence, media is really important. It's a big deal. And we also see the corollary with misinformation and how
Mm.
that has shaped a lot of people's worlds, to the detriment of their sanity and also like social stability. It's a huge responsibility, and it's that to me is also why the ownership of Twitter is so important and
Mhm.
unfortunately so disappointing. I mean, not that anyone had high aspirations, obviously, but more just, damn, what a shame that we lost this thing.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
because I used to be so excited by it and on it, and like I would use it to organize people, reach out to people, start like chats of try to of people trying to come up with action plans for how do we talk about this story in Bon Appetit, how do we talk about that story, like what do we ask for, during this time of instability at this one publication, like that sort of stuff, and how do we share stories about bad actors in the industry. And yeah, to lose that resource is really tough, and it's um yeah, I don't know. I get a lot of inquiries from younger people who ask, how they can get into the industry and how they can sort of, learn from what I've experienced. And structurally, the world is so different now, and the information economy is so different from even 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And so, like, I don't think my recommendations are all that useful anymore. Because we keep having to, like people who are really into LiveJournal, for instance, like you just have to jump, you have to scrounge for that same feeling of community, because these corporations are making bad decisions, and bad decisions for us, good for them and lining their pockets.
Correct.
Um, and so, like, yeah, I mean, I would say I would, uh, I am very for the abolition of billionaires and for, more taxation on inherited wealth and on capital gains and all the things that enable people to be billionaires and just make it's just like a mind-boggling amount of money uh, by doing nothing, you know, and just further consolidating wealth. I mean, that would solve a lot of problems, not just about media, but
Yeah,
about just social structure itself.
totally. And with respect to like TikTok in particular, have you spent much time considering the app itself, just like its place in media? And if so, what do you make of it seems like, well, I guess not that sudden. I remember Trump for a bit was talking about maybe splitting it up between among some of maybe like Bloomberg or some at Walmart even I think was talking about it a few years ago, but now it's
Okay.
been brought back,
Uh-huh.
um, and it seems to be a bipartisan concern. So, what do you think about TikTok if you think about TikTok?
Oh man, I think about it a lot, and I think this is the wrong fight. The intentions are I trust the intention, I get it, but without actual regulation over how social media giants and big tech do business, banning one app is not going to solve anything. Like the security reasons are ridiculous. But I think spending time thinking about how these apps, you know, afflict so many people, especially young people and older people, with this sort of addictive behavior,
Mhm.
through dark patterns and like through the way they're structured and how they reward behavior. Um, and really like taking seriously on a legislative level, like how do you regulate an algorithm and how do you regulate the writing of them so that they do not foment these behaviors?
Right.
Um, like how do you make it so if someone accidentally, it's like trying to do research on vaccines on Facebook because, whatever, God forbid, and then they stumble onto anti-vax groups, how do you keep the algorithm from continuing to serve them posts about like that are anti-vaccination, and keep them from falling into that rabbit hole of like QAnon and conspiracy thinking? How do you, like that matters.